Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Derek Eklum over here at Foundation Software. I'd like to welcome everybody to today's educational webinar series, and the topic today is going to be Foundation's Project HQ, and I guess more specifically getting into document storage and more on the annotation side of it. And I'll kind of go through, I guess, kind of a short overview of the entire platform, the entire HQ Suite platform. And then, afterwards, if there's questions or if you want to reach out to me and maybe set up a time to touch base or go through any of the features, I'd be more than happy to do so. So yeah, I'll go through just a short presentation, turn it over to you guys, see what type of questions you might have, and we'll take it from there. But yeah, thanks for blocking off some time here this afternoon to go through this. And without too much further ado, I'll kind of just jump right into it. So I guess first off, for those of you that are kind of new to this whole product, this whole concept here that we have at Foundation, our HQ Suite. This is a web-based project management platform. What makes this unique is this does integrate directly with your Foundation database. So it's going to push and pull information back and forth. The pieces to it, or I guess you can kind of, if you think about it like Foundation, it'll have like modules, I guess. But the pieces to it are Project HQ, which is the main part, and then there's Crew HQ, and then there's Executive HQ. Now, what exactly are those pieces? So Project HQ, that is where you're able to create and manage different documents. So things like RFIs and submittals and change orders and purchase orders, things like that. You can create the documents, you can email them out of here. Track any of the correspondence back and forth, attach documents. So, document management, and all the while, that'll push information, certain pieces of information back into Foundation. And then the other, another piece would be called Crew HQ. That's a scheduling, labor dispatching tool, resource management, basically being able to schedule out a job and get that information out to different employees. You can do that. And then a third part is called Executive HQ. That's reporting. That's what's going to allow your project managers and operations team to basically review job cost reports, see what's going on with how the projects are performing. So that's what this is. It's similar to some other platforms that are out there in the marketplace. There's a handful of different third-party companies. And again, yeah, what separates us is the whole idea where this will integrate directly with your Foundation database. And usually, I know pricing's not everything, but we're usually one of the cheaper options too when it comes to, final pricing. And our goal here at Foundation is to offer a economical piece that our customers can use, out in the field without, having it break the bank. Because of course you're a Foundation customer who wants you to also be a happy HQ customer at the end of the day. So I guess that's kind of the 30,000-foot overview. The screen that you guys have been looking at, this is more of an overview page. So as a project manager, you can see documents, these are projects first, most recent projects. Then next to that, we have documents. You can kind of toggle between overdue, upcoming, and recent. Schedule, so that gets into the Crew HQ. I can always narrow it down to just a particular job if I wanted to. We have a feature here in the platform called Action Items, where you can assign them out to different contacts, and you can set different reminders or notifications to be triggered based on priorities and due dates, and then just weather conditions. So yeah, more of a, like it says right there, more of an overview. Now the main part of the platform is going to be projects. So this gets into the whole Project HQ part of the platform. So this will pull up your list of available jobs, and all of these are going to pull in from Foundation. But the idea is you can select a project, and then it brings you to an overview page just for that particular job. And you get into things like daily logs, a schedule overview here, most recent email. And the way that email works here with HQ is it would tie in or connect to your Outlook account or Gmail account, and you'd be able to email directly out of here, and it comes from your actual email address and leaves a copy here, but it also stores a copy back in your Outlook folder or Gmail folder, I guess whichever one it pertains to. And then documents, action items, weather, very similar to what we saw on that front screen, just I guess narrowed down to just this one particular job. And then down the left-hand side, I'll kind of go through all these features, but if I kind of expand the menu, you can kind of see what you're getting into here. So details, these would be all the typical types of information that would pull in from your foundation database. Resources, I'm going to circle back around to schedule. That's the Crew HQ piece, but team, these would just be all the different contacts that you're dealing with on the project. Work management, this is where you start getting into creating different forms and documents, where you can see action items, AIA worksheets. That's a big one. So that's one of the ones that'll actually push back into foundation. But if you, as a company, if you're having your project managers create these and they're dealing with the customer or the owner, this just kind of puts it in their hands, and they can create, the schedule of values. They can create the application. They can print this off, have it push back into foundation. And accounting always has a chance to review and okay it. So anything that pushes back into foundation from HQ, none of it's just going to automatically post or update without accounting, being able to review and okay it. But yeah, AIA worksheets are one of the big ones that'll cross over into foundation. Touch base on daily logs, but yeah, just we saw that back on the overview page, but just a place where you can fill in what happened on the project that day. And all of these maintenance items pull in from foundation. So I mean employees, vendors, customers, equipment items, inventory or material parts. So, again, it's being integrated into foundation has a lot of advantages. One being that it cuts down tremendously on the amount of setup time that it takes to get going on this. But yeah, daily logs here. And then for documents, this is where you get into RFIs, you get into submittals, you can create different user-defined documents that you can send out and track and manage. And for all of your documents, like if I go into an RFI here, you're going to have a screen that looks kind of like this, where you have the ability to toggle by status. There's a keyword search. You can run a list or a log here. And then for the documents themselves, like if I open one up, you have a very high ability to customize these types of documents, and much more so than anything you'd have on the foundation side. So you can change what these fields look like, or what shows or doesn't show, what's required, what's not required, templates, logos, all that kind of stuff is good to go here. But also on any document, there's an area to manually keep track of correspondence. And then when it comes to attachments, which is kind of one of the big topics here for today's webinar, this is where you can always save really any type of file. It can be a Word document, it can be a PDF, it can be a JPEG, it can be an Excel file, and it's all part of the HQ cloud. So it's unlimited storage. You can save really any type of document you want here. And then the other section here is mailbox. This is where you can see all of the emails that have been sent or saved on this project. You can also send emails out as well. But yeah, that's really, I guess, kind of the main concept all throughout ProjectHQ here, is you're able to create these documents, email them out of here, keep track of any back and forth, and then in certain cases, wherever it crosses over into the accounting world, you can have that push in and update foundation. But there's punch lists. There's an area underneath that called cost management, where you would be able to see the detailed budget breakdown, which again, the original budget would pull in from your foundation database, but what you're kind of focused on in this section would be change orders and then committed costs, so like purchase orders and subcontracts. And it's these two here, the committed cost section and the change order section, same idea as AIA. So you can create these here. You can code everything out when it comes to change orders. Like if I go into one just to kind of show you, there's a scope of work section where you can break out from a cost code, cost class standpoint, how that needs to break out, in addition, of course, to filling out what the owner or customer would see. But the idea is you can create these, email them out, and then push these or sync these into foundation. But yeah, change orders and then committed costs would be purchase orders and subcontracts. Even if there's any changes to those agreements, you can create those here, and those would also push into that area of foundation. Again, all of these require somebody on the accounting side to review and okay it before they would actually update back into the reporting side of foundation. But yeah, the last part is collaboration, which just kind of touching base on files here. This is where you would see all of the attachments and drawings that have been saved all throughout the project, to RFIs, change orders, purchase orders, etc. They would show up here. A couple of the neat things you can do here is you can create folders, subfolders. Like if I went to blueprints, I think I've got a a subfolder. Yeah, you can create, subfolders within the folder. And then for the, the documents themselves, you can share them, you can download them, you can copy those. So from a document storage standpoint, you have a lot of flexibility. And then the new annotation feature that's going to be coming out here soon. Now it's not out quite yet, but we're hoping here within the next week or so be able to come out. But that gets into being able to do entire PDF overrides, or if you just need to do markups where you can notate or put in verbiage or like draw arrows, you can. It'll keep track of version history, so kind of like an audit trail for those items. There's a layering, so if you need to see, here's the original document, here's what's changed by person A, here's what's been changed by person B. So it's a pretty powerful tool that's going to be released here in the very short future here. So document storage is going to be enhanced with annotation and markups here coming soon. But that would be the ProjectHQ part of the platform. And then a second part, kind of shifting gears outside of ProjectHQ, and now we're going to be kind of looking at ProjectHQ here. So this is the HQ Suite scheduling tool. So this allows a project manager to keep track of their projects, see what's scheduled on the jobs, what resources and employees are scheduled where. And then, the big benefit for a lot of our companies is they're looking for a way for an employee to get a notification. So yes, this will send out an email or a text notification to your employees. In addition, they always have their own link that they can click to pull up a calendar view, but they'll get kind of pinged with notifications nonetheless, either way. But yeah, the idea is you have your list of projects, you would create tasks, and then to each of those tasks, you would assign out dates, the location, which would pull off the job record, but you can always override that if you wanted to. Resources, so this is where you can assign employees, equipment, material, contacts, maybe subcontractors, maybe a schedule by crew, and it does let you know if somebody's double booked already. Of course, those ones, there we go. These two guys are already scheduled. So yeah, if somebody is scheduled elsewhere, it kind of gives you a heads up on that. But yeah, scheduling, there's a place to create predecessor and successor tasks. So if you move one, it pulls the other. Sure, custom fields, but that's all throughout the HQ Suite, not just here. Budget, so that would be if you wanted to copy over the cost codes on your job's budget and make those your tasks, you could. And then lastly, just a place just to fill in miscellaneous notes that can get kicked out on the notification as well. So ProjectHQ would be another part of the platform. And then the third and final part of our HQ Suite is called Executive HQ. This is the reporting function. So what this, I guess what this kind of gets into is job cost reporting. It's the same data, same numbers, same breakdown as far as jobs, cost codes, classes, if you get into quantities, hours, etc. It just puts it into a nicer looking format, kind of a prettier format. So the way that this is set up is you've got grand totals on this initial page, and then on the bottom half gets into a percent complete or over under report. And then from here, and you can sort and filter any of these columns too if you want to. But then from here, if you want to drill into a job, that'll then open up just a nice dashboard where you can kind of see all the different moving parts of that project, cost classes, change orders, a variance by cost code. And then even from here, I can drill into any of these charts or graphs, or I can drill into this concrete formwork line item and see in detail what made that up. So that's the idea here with Executive HQ. So yeah, all in all, I guess the HQ Suite, it's been out for now close to 4 years. It'll be 4 years as of January 1st. It's been doing well. We've got hundreds of companies signed up. A lot more runway to go though. So I would say, this is for anybody that asks me, hey Derek, is this a completely built out product? No. I mean, software it evolves year after year after year for probably, 10, 20 years. So this is still earlier on, but yeah, for most of our companies that are looking for a web-based project management, document management platform, this checks a lot of the boxes, from a feature standpoint, integrations, pricing, and if you do have any, follow-up questions, there's an area to type that in here on the go to webinar side screen there, but let me pull up my information, and then two, if you think of anything after the fact, feel free to reach out. I'd be happy to touch base or answer questions or even schedule a call to kind of go online and go through some different scenarios with you. But yeah, if you have any questions, I'll stick around here for a few more minutes and cover that as as best I can. So I'll kind of turn it over to you guys right now. And here's a good question right off the bat. Do you need to be on Foundation hosted in order to use the HQ suite? So the answer is no. So if you have Foundation installed locally on your own server, what we would do is make a connection to a port on your server computer, and we would narrow down from a security standpoint that you can only access that via one of our registered IP addresses. But yeah, that's how the data would push and pull back and forth. So no difference. Do not have to be on our hosted version. Question, will this replace Foundation's document imaging module? So for those of you that aren't too familiar with that, the document imaging module is in Foundation. It allows you to store documents, and then it also allows you to do AP invoice routing. So it'll replace the document storing part of it, but not the invoice routing part of it, at least not for, I would say, 3/4 of a year. It's on the roadmap. But I haven't heard definitively when we're going to kind of break ground on that. It was, back when I heard we were looking at early 2024, but I think that's going to be pushed back a little bit. So the routing, probably safe to say about a year, but eventually. Not that the imaging module is going to go away at all, but this would just be kind of a different way to do that. How or where do you pull projects from Foundation to HQ? So let me show you. So right on the main project screen, right here is where you can pull in jobs from Foundation. And not everybody would have access to this feature, so there is a security setting. So if you don't want certain people to pull jobs over from Foundation, you can, but it's basically check my checkbox and that pulls it in. And yeah, another question is, hey, what about user-defined documents? So yeah, but basically, within ProjectHQ, you're creating, action items, AIAs, daily logs, RFI submittals, punch lists, change orders, purchase orders, subcontracts. So the user-defined document section is kind of a catch-all. Whatever else you need to create and track here, you can. These are just some examples I've created with different calls with companies over the last few years. But like an area to save blueprints, to write up contracts. I think this was an equipment checklist, material safety data, meeting minutes, just a vague miscellaneous document. So yeah, you can create your own custom templates, create your own custom fields that are there. And then a question, can I see all the jobs and crews on the schedule? So that kind of shifts over to ProjectHQ, the scheduling tool. So yeah, as long as you have access from a security standpoint, because it's how most companies set this up is they limit what projects people can see. But if you have all jobs, you're going to have the list right here, and you'll see everything that's out there, and you can see the tasks. You can also run this by employee, or if you want to run it by equipment item. So you have some other options. But yeah, assuming you have access from a security standpoint, you'll see everything that's there. And then question, can field workers view files like plans and approve submittals? Yeah, as long as they're a user, for the HQ suite. I mean, they'd have to be a user in order to log this in and see, see those documents there. And then a question here, can WorkMax forms be pulled into a job record here? So yeah, I mean, if you just wanted to save, I guess it doesn't have to be work, it could be any product. If you want to create a document, you'd be able to save that into HQ here. And then question, can you view all the invoices ahead a job within the project? Yeah, that would be Executive HQ. So Executive HQ is always broken down by cost code, but then from there, if I wanted to drill into a cost code, that's where it'll pull up a detail report breaking down, everything that's been entered against that cost code. So whether it's labor, whether it's AP, whether it's equipment, any information, you'll be able to see all that detail. Yeah, if you are interested in pricing, or if you do want to set up a time just to touch base, that's my contact information. Probably email is the best way to get in touch with me. That's dke@foundationsoft.com, just because I'm on and off the phone throughout the day. Always keeping an eye, I guess, on my email too. But yeah, if you have any questions on pricing or anything really, you can feel free to reach out, and I'd be happy to help. All right, I'll hang on just a couple more minutes, make sure everybody's all set. All right, everybody, I do appreciate you spending some time here. Yeah, whatever you guys need, just feel free to let us know, and we'd be happy to give you a hand. All right, thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.